Before the COVID pandemic put a temporary halt to live events, I would look forward every year to attending an inspiring gala put on by the Unstoppable Foundation, a nonprofit that builds schools and provides education and clean water to children in Africa. Hi, I'm Deborah Poneman, and I'm the founder of Yes to Success, where we share knowledge and tools for you to live your ultimate life. Well, every year, the Unstoppable program was always filled with celebrity speakers, big names like Nelly Furtado and NFL Hall of Famer Warren Moon. One year, Dylan McDermott, Maggie Q, even the iconic Paula Abdul. But no one ever inspired me like a young girl from Kenya who they flew in to share her story at the gala in 2016. Her name was Susan, and her life was typical of girls in her community, fetching water and helping her mother cook and care for her younger brothers and sisters until she was a young teen, at which time she'd then be married off and begin to have babies of her own. Susan's impoverished village had no school. In fact, the closest school was almost 8 miles away, and there were no cars in her part of Africa. So very few young people went to school in her region, especially if you were a girl. Only through sheer determination was Susan able to complete primary school and graduate at the top of her class. She worked incredibly hard as her dream was to qualify to fill one of only 40 positions available for girls out of almost 1,000 who applied to the only secondary school for girls in the entire region. Well, the day came when the list arrived of the 40 girls who were chosen to fill the spots, and Susan's name was not on the list. Her teachers were as heartbroken as she was, but there was nothing anyone could do, or so they said. Susan was not taking no for an answer. She wanted to know why she was not chosen. So on the day that school began, she walked for miles to the private school where the 40 girls who were chosen were lined up in their crisp new uniforms, ready to walk into the school building and begin their year. Susan marched right up to the headmistress in front of all the other girls and demanded to know why she had not been chosen. The headmistress said she was sorry that there were only 40 spots because there were only 40 beds and 40 desks and 40 sets of books, and Susan was number 41. She said there was no money for even one more girl, and there was nothing that she could do. As Susan begged and held back her tears and said there must be something that could be done, the other girls also began begging the headmistress to let Susan in, saying they would share their books and push their beds together to make room for her. They offered to share their uniforms and to give Susan their desk. And they said that they would sit on the floor, but please let her in. Well, you can figure out the rest of the story. As Susan was flown in from Kenya for the gala to thank the donors for supporting the school where she had just graduated number one in her class and was on her way to nursing school. But what struck me most about the story was how fearless this young girl was. She didn't care if the other little girls laughed at her. She didn't care if the headmistress reprimanded her and sent her home. She knew what she wanted, and she was determined to make her vision come true. How many times have you let fear stop you? How many times have you backed off and shrunk with the first no? And worse yet, how many times have you let others' opinions or what you think they're going to think about you cause you to let go of your dreams? Would you have had the courage to do what Susan did? Or would you have just accepted your fate? Fear will always be there, no matter how successful you become. Success doesn't mean you'll never be afraid. It simply means that if you really want to live a life you love, a life filled with success, you can't let the fear stop you. So I invite you to notice. Notice what you do when you're faced with fear. I do a lot of things like I feel where the fear is in my body and I breathe into it. I thank it. I ask it what it's there to teach me. I ask myself how the situation could turn out better than I could even imagine. But most of all, I think of Susan and I ask, what would Susan do? And then I move courageously forward, knowing that everything I want, everything I dream, and everything you dream is waiting for you on the other side of your fear. And I'll end with a quote from Mandy Hale, who's the author of Single is the New Fabulous and You Are Enough and Don't Believe the Swipe. And what she said is, it's okay to be scared. Being scared just means you're about to do something really, really brave. Sending you love.